Alright, let's take a look here at drawing the cowcatcher. There's 5 different views of this catcher here. We need to start by drawing the bottom, because that's one we have dimensions for. Then we'll do a loft to the top view, which we have some dimensions for and an angle. So let's take a look at how to draw this. First, I'm going to draw a straight line on the bottom, lock it in place, straight up, any angle I want, and then back home. Do a perpendicular constraint to there, an equal constraint to both of these, an equal constraint to both of those. Done, and I can start throwing some dimensions on there. 1.8, 0.25, and an overall height of 1. There's our shape. Finish that sketch. Alright, now we're going to place a work plane on that sketch by clicking the 2 right angles right there, and we have a perfect work plane. Now, we're going to do an offset work plane by choosing the original. We'll get a dialog box, and the distance we're offsetting is 0.75. Hit the check mark, and now we have those 2 panes of glass we talked about. 0.75 comes from the distance right here, from bottom to top, 0.75. Now, we know that this is a 1/4 inch right here. Total height is 0.75. We just don't know how long these angle pieces are, but we know their angle degree. Let's go ahead and give that a try. I'll show you a trick for doing that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to project geometry to a new sketch. So create a sketch by clicking the edge of that work plane. Project geometry of the bottom line, and I'm going to draw a line right on top of it. Now, I don't know how long that line is, they don't tell us, but we do know how far it is from each of the ends. So we take a look here back at the beginning. We know that it's 1.2 in length, but we don't know how far it is from the side. We know if the overall is 1.8 minus 1.2, that's a 0.6 difference, allowing us to have 0.3 on either side. So what does that look like? Dimension, endpoint to endpoint at 0.3, and endpoint to endpoint at 0.3 again. From here, we can draw up, lock it in a perpendicular if you want, finish it off. Same thing, I'll add a perpendicular constraint from here to there. I'll make these 2 equal. I'll make those 2 equal. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start dimensioning. I know that that dimension has to be the same as that one. So I'll click on it, shrinks it down. Now what I'm worried about is this, how high this is. They don't tell us, but they'll give us an angle. Let's take a look at the beginning. The angle is 50 degrees from this straight line to that line. Therefore, what's its supplementary angle right here? It's got to be 130 degrees. So I will dimension the distance for the angle from there to there. It should be 130. We can check this one, but it probably won't let us drop it. So we know that it's correct. Alright, we can finish that sketch. Now we can loft, click to add. We add the first sketch in the back, click to add second sketch up front, and there's our loft. Hit OK. Now we can spin that around and look at it like the cowcatcher is supposed to be. Alright, next thing we're going to do is shell out the bottom. I'm going to turn off the visibility of my work planes by right clicking on them. They're still there if I need them, but I'm turning them off for now. Rotate to the bottom, hit shell, thickness of 0.1. I've got that from right here, 0.1 from there to there. Pick the face I want to do it to, down at the bottom, hit OK. Now it's shelled out and open. Now we can give it a try here to put the work plane on this front surface by clicking on two of the faces. See how that works right there. We can then add a sketch to that work plane. Remember, I picked that face, or that edge, and that edge to create the work plane. Project geometry. Offset that in, and the distance of the offset was 0.1. Finish the sketch, extrude that surface. We're going to cut it at 0.05 and hit OK. I'm going to turn off my work plane to see if we can see it any better. And it's really hard to see, but you can kind of make out that little ledge right there. Alright, you can do it to both sides. Now let's take a look at the back, or the bottom. We need to place a sketch on that surface and draw some circles. First thing we want to do is make all those circles an equal size. We can then dimension them. 0.125. We can check that out right here. They are diameter of 0.125. Location, they are 1.25 apart, 0.625 from the center, and this one's 0.5 off the bottom, and these are 0.125 off the bottom. So let's take a look at that. Dimension from there to there, 0.125, there to there, 0.125, here to there, 0.5. Distance from here to there has to be half of the overall distance, which would be 0.9, and then the distance between there to there is 1.25, and the distance from here to the corner is going to be check that out real quick just to make sure I got that right. We don't exactly know what the distance is. We know that it's 1.25 minus 1.8 divided by 2. So let's take a look at that just to make sure we have it correct. So 1.8 minus 1.25 divided by 2 equals 0.275. Looks good. Finish the sketch. Extrude. Adjust the circles. And the distance for the extrusion is 0.125 right there. After that, we need to put a chamfer on them. Our chamfer distance was 0.01, I think. Let's double check on that. 0.01 at a 45-degree angle. That just means 2 equal chamfers. And we clicked on 1, 2, 3, check mark. And they're good to go.